students, welcome to La Excellence. Welcome to the NCERT session where we'll be focusing on 8th standard NCERT book. If you look at the title of the 8th standard NCERT book itself, which talks about resources and development. Here we are actually looking at the resources which are not present only in India but which are present in different parts of the world as well. When I talk about resources, I am not only talking about mineral resources which are present in India. We are actually talking about almost all the different types of resources. It may be with respect to land as a resource. It may be with respect to soil as a resource, or animals, or birds as a resource. So we will be dealing with resources in detail. But some chapters in this book are helpful from mains where the topic says resources which are present in India and the world. For those topics, some chapters in this are very, very important. In mains, I can show you some questions which are asked directly from these topics. So let's quickly see what are these. Before I begin, I just want to tell you one important fact. This is a factual book where most of the information in this is static. There is very less information that we need to understand. Like soil erosion, counter building, all this I'll be explaining. But apart from that, most of the topics you will be actually reading in this chapter or in this book will be with respect to mains, where in your answer writing you can use these points. Factual information with respect to prelims is very less in this book, but I'll show you those important facts as well. Right? So let's quickly enter into the first chapter. So the first chapter is nothing more than just an introduction to resources. They have actually classified resources into different things, natural, human resources, all this. So let's quickly see some of these definitions and keep moving on. The very important thing that you need to see here is patent, which means an exclusive right over any idea or invention. As you are all aware, patent is a new innovation made by a particular person who will have exclusive right over that particular product. So he can make money out of it. Patents, which you will be seeing in economy in detail, but here I am talking about patent definition, simple definition for those people who do not know what exactly patent is. I have already told you clearly, I am assuming that you people don't know the basics. So any important information in the NCERT book, I'll be giving it to you. So please don't think that why are you going in such detail, because I am considering all those students who do not know anything about geography at all. The next important thing that we need to focus is actually with respect to natural resources. The natural resources can be classified on the basis of level of development and use. For example, let me take, there is something called as geothermal energy. This is nothing more than the thermal energy which is present inside the earth. It may be because of the radioactive minerals or some heat which is present inside the earth. Whenever gases or water comes in contact with it, this actually comes up, and when you keep turbine there, it will be beneficial. In Himachal Pradesh, Arunachal Pradesh, in all these regions, we usually come across these energies. But the problem with this is, the level of development and how exactly can we make use of it is not known to the people. So here, whenever I talk about natural resources, I should be aware that there are resources present in the world, but am I in a position to utilize it carefully for the purpose that I need? For example, let me take methane. Methane today is considered as a very good fuel which can actually replace fossil fuels. If you can blend methanol with other fuels, it is expected that the sulfur dioxide content or nitrogen dioxide content, which is the major pollutant in the fossil fuels, will not be emitted when you are going for methanol. But the point is, we do not have required technology to use methanol directly in the vehicles. So here what I am trying to say is, Any natural resource actually depends upon the level of development and its usage. It may be present more, it may be distributed in different parts, but we may not be in a position to utilize it. For example, let me take two countries here, Bhutan and Nepal. Bhutan and Nepal both are mountainous countries and both are extremely dependent upon the hydroelectric power. Bhutan had good deals with India, where it has said that India, you construct the dams, but give some portions to me and you take some portions. Please pay some money for using or for purchasing the hydroelectric power. And India is the major contributor of GDP to Bhutan through the purchase of electricity. Now here I am talking about actual resource. Bhutan actually has the resource because the water dams are already constructed and this has become a resource and I can produce electricity from this. But whenever I talk about potential resources, I am giving example of Nepal. Nepal has not built dams, but it feels that as Bhutan has built, even I have lot of rivers flowing. If I can construct dams here, it has potential to generate much more than Bhutan. And I can sell this to India. So, they are bargaining with India on the basis of potential, but not on the basis of actual resource. So, once the dam is constructed, and actually when you come to know that yes, I expected that 10,000 megawatts of electricity can be produced and I am producing 10,000 megawatts of electricity, then I call it to be actual resource. But if I say I believe that I can generate 10,000 megawatts of electricity here, but finally when I construct, because of lot of problems, if I see that only around 3 to 4,000 megawatts is produced, then I will not call that to be an actual resource. So there I say potential is different and actual resource is actually different. Then you have a simple example of renewable and non-renewable. Non-renewable which do not come back, renewable which you can use it again and again. All these informations are easy, so you need not worry about it. Then you have something called as human resource. We are talking about human resource, refer to the number and abilities of the people. Though there are differing views regarding treatment of humans as resource, one cannot deny the fact that humans have the ability to transfer the physical material into valuable resource. So these are all some basic concepts which is not very much required, but I'm just giving you that if you can go through this, it's fine. Now conserving resource is very, very important. When we talk about conservation, we need to talk about sustainable development. What is the meaning of sustainable development? Sustainable development has two terms. One, it actually talks about carefully utilizing resources so that it meets the present requirements. That is, today people should be in a position to utilize it. Also takes care of future generations. Sustainable development has two things. You're not compromising on the present, but at the same time, you're not compromising on the future as well. Many people, when they talk about sustainable development, they either focus only on the future or they will focus only on the present. So please be careful. It has two important factors. One is with respect to present generation. Another one is actually with respect to future generations. When this book was actually written, there was nothing called as sustainable development goals, which different countries have accepted to attain sustainable development in the world. Those goals were not present at that time. So usually you will not see them. But some principles which you can actually use in your essays is with respect to this. Respect and care for all forms of life, improve the quality of human life, conserve the earth's vitality and diversity, minimize the depletion of natural resources, change personal attitude and practices towards the environment. When I'm talking about respect and care for all forms of life, you have to talk about endangered species, vulnerable species, sites and other international organizations which are actually working to protect them. Next, when we talk about improve the quality of human life, you have to talk about development is not alone required. You have to focus on poverty, health and other things where UNDP development concept comes into picture. When we talk about conserve the earth's vitality and diversity, ecological things against pollution, climate change, all this are required. Minimize the depletion of natural resources, use it in such a way that we can benefit now and we can also benefit in future. Change personal attitude and practices. That is, every individual should actually aim to ensure that there is conservation of water, land and other resources which are very, very important for us. Enable communities to care for their own environment. Here, we should understand that not only yourself, you have to empower the communities in those local areas just to ensure that they can take care of their areas. For example, earlier, tribal people who used to be present in forests were not considered as part of forest, they were removed from the forest and they were made to be present in the fringe areas of the forest. But later, with Forest Rights Act, the government ensured that tribals are also part of the forest. And whenever we talk about conservation of forests, we need to say what is the role of tribals in that, and we should empower them to ensure that the forest is conserved. So here I am talking about a new definition for this, where I am saying in the Forest Rights Act, forest means tribal people are also part of this. So all this information is very, very important for us. So after this, there is nothing much to see in this chapter. So let's quickly move to next chapter.